And today I have the pleasure of interviewing Mr. Eric. How are you?
I'm doing well. How y'all doing?
Good. So tell the people who you are.
My name's Eric Coleman. Military brat, moved around all over the place growing up. Been in Louisville for about 10 years. Graduated from WKU, ran track there. Started this business about 5 years ago, and we've just been rolling ever since then.
And today I have the pleasure of interviewing Mr. Randall. How are you?
I'm good. Couldn't be better.
Okay.
5 years.
Tell the people who you are.
I'm AM Fitness, Mr. AM Fitness. Add and maintain fitness. You have to add the fitness to your life, then you have to maintain it. So that's exactly who I am.
You know, it's two sides of every story.
Mm-hmm.
So, where's the name One Stop Fitness come from?
So collectively we agreed on the name. We was just kind of throwing names out there left and right, trying to figure it out because he had his business and I had my business already established. And so I think we were talking one day. My memory's a little hazy, but I'm pretty sure we were talking one day, and I said I want our facility to become a one-stop shop. You know, I want it to be when you come in, you can do cardio, you can lift weights, we can do HIIT classes, Zumba, yoga. I wanted, one-stop shop for everything, and then it just kind of clicked, and I was like, even if we just call it One Stop Fitness, and it was like. That actually got a little ring to it, and then we were like, okay, well, now that we have a name, let's see how we can configure the name and incorporate both of our logos and everything in it. And his logo was AM Fitness, that's his business. Mine is 3C Fitness. And so we ended up basically just drawing, doodling, and everything like that, and we ended up coming up with the 3 a.m. logo that's hanging outside on the front of the building. So collectively, him and I together, 3 a.m. or One Stop Fitness. So, but we're two separate companies, but as a partnership, we came together for One Stop.
So I asked your partner, how'd you come up with the name of One Stop Fitness? Let's see if you remember how y'all came up with the name of One Stop Fitness.
I can't exactly remember, but it was probably a couple weeks after we opened. Our first gym.
Okay. So y'all had two gyms?
We've had two gyms, yeah. And we was just kind of running names by each other, and I can't remember if Eric came up with it or if we collectively both came up with it, but it was a joint effort, yeah.
Okay. So how did you come up with your individual name?
My name is more or less, I wanted to figure out how I could transition a name into my actual purpose. So I kind of got it from just understanding what I did every day in terms of training that someone would have to add fitness to their lifestyle, and then you couldn't just add it, you would have to maintain it as well. So that's where I would say I got it from.
Yeah.
Okay, so before you opened this business, what were you doing before?
So before I decided to, take the leap of faith and become an entrepreneur, I was actually working at Sherwin-Williams.
What is it?
Sherwin-Williams.
What is that?
Yeah, it's a paint supply store, more or less, and I started there actually part-time. Yeah. Here's the thing. Yeah, so here's the thing. I didn't actually do the painting or anything like that.
Okay.
When I graduated WKU, my degree was in exercise physiology and exercise science, and then my minor was business administration.
Okay.
And so I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with that. I originally wanted to go back to school and get my clinical license and do all this stuff and open my own practice in cardiopulmonary rehab therapy. But once I graduated, I was like, I don't feel like that's my calling, and so I moved up to Louisville. I just ended up applying for jobs, and my minor basically got me a job at Sherwin-Williams. However, it was just part-time. And I was, I think, 21 at the time. I moved up to Louisville. I was actually living out of my car for about a month when I first got up here because, you know, making $10 an hour, really, you're not going to be able to afford it much. And so after I ended up doing that, after I got promoted, I moved up here, got promoted in the first 3 months to full-time. After full-time, I got promoted again to assistant manager. And then about a year later, I got promoted again to the branch manager in the Highlands.
And I mean, so, you would think that that would be your career.
Oh, no, and a lot of people, you know, they're happy with that type of career. You know, I was making decent money, especially I think at that time I was 25, 26. I was making good money, enough to sustain myself, no wife, no kids, anything like that. And so once I got to the highest level, which was branch manager, I was there for about 2 years. It was probably around 27, 28 years old. That's when I realized, I was like, this ain't it. You know, going to the meetings that I was going to and not seeing anybody that looks like me, you know, and
that makes a difference.
It does. It makes a big difference. And then not only that, but the way that they would treat me, because there was nobody else there that looked like me. I was the youngest and the only black branch manager at the time in the region and everything like that. So, of course, they looked at me like, yeah, what's he doing here?
Nah, they all of that.
I guess, you know, even the light skinners didn't help, you know. They were still like, nah, you don't belong here, you know. But all in all, you know, I just decided, I was like, I got to find something to do. So from January 2000, so I started personal training. Actually, my friend asked me, hey, Eric, I know you're not a trainer or anything like that, but you have an athletic background and you still work out now, so can you help me lose some weight? And so I ended up getting her to come out to my apartment complex. We would go and I would get her doing specific workouts and, you know, tell her what to eat and different things like that. And then over the summer, she ended up losing about 25 to 30 pounds. And so her friends was like, oh my God, you look great. What are you doing? Where are you going? She was like, my friend's helping me train. Next thing you know, she would bring a friend out there. That friend would start losing weight. And then next thing you know, I had like 10 people at Breckenridge Square Apartments in a yard, like in the grass area with cinder blocks and empty paint cans that I stole from my job, you know. Exactly, we gotta do what we gotta do. So I did that, took the, and you know, I would use what I could to, you know, get what we can, you know, get to where we can be. And so after doing that for about, I want to say maybe 2-3 months, they were like, look, you need to go ahead and do this. This is something that we can tell you love doing. Because I wasn't even charging them at that point in time. You know, they was just coming out and we was working out in the yard, and, you know, even my neighbors would be like, what y'all doing out there? I think I'm gonna come next week, da da da. And so I ended up I went ahead and got my certification. And this was all in 2016.
How long is that process?
Of getting the certification? It really kind of depends on the person. Some people can get it within a month. Some people it takes 6 months. Some people it takes years. You know, it just depends on you, because it's kind of go at your own pace type of thing. And so I ended up getting my certification. And then after I got my certification, I started training like at Planet Fitness. My original name was the Traveling Trainer. And so, because I would go from Planet Fitness to LA Fitness to LAC, training different people, you know, just trying to make some money, you know, and at the end of the day, I did love what I did. You know, I love what I did.
When you was doing this, were you still working as the manager?
Yeah,
so
I was still working.
doing that in this?
Yeah, I was doing both in 2016 and 2017. Now, January 2017 came around, and what I decided to do was I was just going to save all of my Sherwin-Williams checks. I put them in a bank account, didn't touch them all the way up until November. I used my personal training money to pay my bills. I lived very humbly, you know, I just had basic stuff in my apartment.
Noodles and noodles.
That's little,
ravioli.
Yes. I'm more of a SpaghettiOs type of guy, but you know, and so, you know, I did that, and for about 11 months, I just saved every check that I could. And then I ended up meeting my business partner in November. Funny story about that.
In the midst of you saving.
Yeah. It was in Planet Fitness. I was training, and I stepped back and I stepped on one of his clients' hands, and she said, "Ow!" And I turned around. I was like, "Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." She was like, and then Randy looked at me. He was like, "She's dramatic. You're good. You're good." And then he sparked up a conversation. You know, he was like, hey man, I see you in here doing your thing, man, working out and everything like that. What are you looking to do? And I was like, honestly, bro, over the last couple of weeks, I've been thinking, I think I want to open a gym. You know, nothing too big, nothing too crazy. And he was like, that's crazy because that's exactly what I'm looking to do too.
Okay.
So I was like, well, yeah, we can sit down. You know, at first I was thinking in my head, I'm like, you know how
I know.
niggas do.
I know.
They won't say something, and then when it's time to actually, do it, it's like, nah, I ain't gonna do it no more. But we stayed in contact from November up until the middle of December. And we ended up finding a place. This is actually our second gym. The first gym we opened was downtown off South Brook Street.
Okay.
And that gym did not last long, mainly because of the third party that we were involved with. But we went out there. We went ahead and opened it. We opened it January 2018. Mm-hmm. I quit my job February 2018.
Okay. So you've been in business for 5 years, correct?
Right.
So how long, outside of that 5 years, how long were you into fitness, like with training people?
Okay, so 10 years prior to owning my own business, I had been training, doing boot camps, doing athletic training.
Were you doing that full time? Like that was your only job?
No, part-time. Yeah, so I had a full-time job. So basically doing a lot of things that in high school, doing things in middle schools, training like athletes, taking it to the next level. Like I had an AAU basketball team for a long time, did all the training with that. Then it kind of graduated into doing more personal training, more one-on-one, more intense training where you're dealing with people's lifestyles, their health, their needs. Somebody with like cancer or someone with high blood pressure, diabetes, knowing how to train those kind of people opposed to just training athletes.
Okay, so would that been a challenge for you, with training someone that has a disability such as an illness or anything like that versus someone that is healthy, but they've never worked out before? Is it a difference?
Well, there's a major difference with doing that. You have to be more detailed. And what I mean by you have to be detailed on both ends, but even more detailed when you're dealing with someone that's on medication, someone that sees a doctor for a certain thing every week, So that's something that is important to have.
Okay. Yeah. Now, is this something that you learned from experience, or did you study? Did you study what you wanted to train your clients for?
Right. So I have a couple of different certifications, NASM, and that's something that is a lot of people don't really give it enough credit, but it's one of those certifications that you can kind of keep building on. So my certification is in fitness. I also have a nutrition certification as well.
You do?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that is good.
That's a great thing to have if you're looking for a personal trainer.
Right. And the good thing about it is you have to stay fresh with NASM. You have to keep updating. Every couple of years you have to get re-educated, kind of touch on certain things as you move forward with your training.
Okay, so you have to have a certificate in order to be a trainer, right?
Correct. You don't have to, but if you want to get somewhere with it, you should.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want people to trust you and people to trust you with their journey and their lifestyle, you want to make sure that you're educating yourself properly by getting the right credentials.
Okay. So with running your own business, do you have to have a business degree, or what degree did you have, or what degree do you have?
Okay, so I have an accounting degree. I have a business degree. A lot of times you don't need neither. You don't even need a high school education. You know, hey, you're right. You can. I mean, I know some business guys that are not educated at all, but it's all about passion at the end of the day. I mean, it's okay to utilize those things. You can piggyback off of those things. But to be honest, most of the, some of your biggest successors in business are high school educated.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah. But yeah, I have a few degrees. Yeah.
Okay, so how many clients do you think you have serviced over the course of 5 years? We're gonna stick to 5.
5 years?
Yes,
Okay.
the 5 years.
So I would have to say around 2,500. Yeah, 2,500 clients. Yeah, and the crazy thing is, to be honest, I'm looping all that together with online training and with doing my in-gym training. So with collectively about 2,500.
So I heard you say you do online training. Is that something you offer now as well, or you just strictly personal?
That's something I do offer now as well. So that's something that I don't do a lot of advertising with, but yeah, I do have clients in Atlanta, Detroit, Miami, different places.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do.
That's how I met you online during COVID.
Oh yeah.
During COVID, I remember those.
I remember that too. That was some good
a,
training. We kind of transitioned that into being in the gym, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Pause. Because I'm a business owner myself, and the feeling that I had was, I want to know if how did you feel about quitting a job that was a guaranteed paycheck and then to jump out and be like, I'm gonna be my own boss? Like, what was that feeling for you? Like, what was your thought process?
Initially, it was a little nerve-wracking. It was really nerve-wracking, mainly because I had become so complacent with that bi-weekly check.
Most definitely.
To where it's like, okay, all my bills are set up around this. And I think that was because I had been working since I was like 15 years old. And so, like, subliminally, you get into a mindset to where that's what you expect every month. You expect this amount, you expect these checks to come on these dates.
Most definitely.
But one thing that really kind of helped me or weaned me into the entrepreneurship was that year of me saving my money, to where I sat back and realized, okay, this personal training stuff, if I decide to do this, it's not like consistent. You got to hustle to grind. You got to and grind to get other people to come and bring new people in and all that sort of stuff, because you're starting to name out from a clean slate on your own. So I was a little nervous when I decided that I wanted to do it. It took me I knew I wanted to quit as soon as we opened the gym. As soon as I got that key and I unlocked that door, I was like, oh yeah, I said, I'm quitting this job. And so I talked to my mom about it, and I love my mom to death. She always wants the best for me. But their mindset is completely different, than ours. And so she was like, well, you got a good job, you got these benefits, you need to just stay there.
401k.
Don't let your hobby turn into, but I just kept feeling this pull. I was like, I feel like as much time as I'm putting in Sherwin-Williams, I could be doubling that time on my own. And so I went ahead and quit in February, typed it up and sent it off.
Ooh.
And that's exactly what I did when I hit send. We'll see how it works. And then, so after we did that, February went great at the gym. March went great at the gym. The very end of March, that gym shut down. So, yeah.
Was it during COVID?
No, this was 2018. Yeah, okay. 2018. So we opened it in January 2018. I quit in February. I'm unemployed in March. And so, right then and there, I definitely wasn't calling my mama.
I told you because they told you.
I told you not to do it. Look at you now, looking crazy. So I was just like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Did you have any thoughts about going back to your job?
Oh yeah, definitely. Initially, as soon as we shut that gym down, I said, I'm about to, email my district manager and be like, hey, just playing.
LOL, you guys.
Gotcha. I'll be back next week, And so but I didn't. I trusted God. I was like, now one thing I did do, I still had pretty much, even after investing in the new gym, I still had a nice amount of money left over from the salary.
Good.
I went on tour. I traveled. I went to the Bahamas. I went to Mexico. I went to Barcelona, Madrid.
And this is when you was unemployed.
Yeah, unemployed. Because I'm like,
Just
might as well.
irresponsible.
I know it, but I was like, you know what? I have been in grind mode ever since I moved to Louisville. And if you don't play a little bit and you all work, you're gonna, run yourself ragged.
Most definitely are.
He called me while I was actually in the Bahamas. He said, hey, I found this place I want you to come look at. It needs some work. But
What month was this?
This was in April.
Okay,
Yeah, April
so
2018.
so just a month. Okay.
Yeah, about
All
a month later. And I was traveling for like maybe 3 weeks. I was staying in one spot for about 4 days and traveled to another place for 4 days. And so he was like, yeah, you got to come see this place, man. You got to come see it. I think it's a nice size for us. So I went ahead and flew back and I walked in here. As soon as I walked in, I was like, this is trash.
Really?
It was horrible. Like, we had so much work to do. Like, I mean, the walls were boarded up. Things were hanging down from the ceiling. Like, the ceiling was way lower than it is now.
Really?
Yeah, it was a lot lower. And there was a wall up where these pillars are. There was actually a wall there.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember it was just this part.
Yeah, it was that part in the front.
Oh, this part,
Yeah,
okay.
It was just
I didn't
that
know
part.
which one.
Yeah, it was just, but they're both the same size. And so I walked through the whole back, and by the time I got back to the front to head back out, I turned around one more time and I was like, you know what? Let's do it. I said, let's do it. Why not?
What we got to lose?
Literally. and I thought about it. I was like, entrepreneurship is not easy. It's not going to be a one-time thing and you just get it off the bat. Nobody succeeded without failing first. And so I had to, really instill that in my mindset. And so I went home that night, had a dream that I saw my 3 lit up on the side of the building.
You did?
I saw it. Right then, I called Reddy that morning. It was, I want to say maybe like 4 in the morning. Hey, let's go.
What's your emergency?
Let's go. Let's get it, We called the landlord, signed the lease, and by May, we had keys. And so just me and Randy, we got in here, started picking up tile, tearing down boards off the wall, pulling up old carpet, changing things the way we need to change them. We was in here probably 12 hours a day, from 4 a.m. to 4 p.m. Then I'd go home, take a nap, wake back up, come right back in here. He was still working full time at his job, so, he would come in when he could, but the whole time I'm in here in grind mode with,
Because you got painting experience.
a little something. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the whole story of how we got in here, and then we ran that business with just that side for about 2.5 years, and then during COVID, we ended up actually renovating and expanding during COVID. Yeah, we renovated and expanded during COVID, and a lot of people were like, how y'all doing that? Like, what's going on? We did the work. We did the background work. We did the groundwork that needed to be done. So that way, when it came to our clientele and everything like that, we could charge what we wanted to charge and what we needed to charge just to keep the lights on and not charge an arm and a leg,
right.
to get people to come in. So yeah, we were smart with our landlord when we did the negotiations, and we didn't go out and take any loans out, so we didn't owe anybody anything. The elbow grease that we put, the blood, sweat, and tears that we put into this place saved us hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so
that's a blessing.
yeah, that was one of the biggest things for me. But yeah, I love it. And once we renovated in 2020 and expanded out, we've just been rolling ever since then. So
yes. So at the age of 18, was this your career choice?
This was not my career choice.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what was it?
my career choice was to be in the NBA playing basketball, right? So I
Okay.
still had the dream, right?
Uh-huh.
So, you know, I'm playing NAIA ball. I'm doing whatever I could do to kind of, and you never know, right? You could, I've seen a couple of guys go from playing NAIA to playing in college, you know, or what I mean by college, D1.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of built your blocks up to that point. You know, NAIA is one of the lowest levels.
See, you
But
speaking French to me. I don't
you
understand
can-
nothing you saying.
Okay.
NI is the lowest level.
NAIA, yeah.
NAI.
Yeah, NAIA, yeah, is one of your lowest levels of basketball.
Okay.
But you can build from that and get to D2 and then D1 and then
Now,
kinda
where
go
were you when you stopped?
D2.
It was at, so that's the highest level,
Yeah,
right?
No, that's the highest level would be D1. So D2, yeah.
Okay, that's confusing. You would think 1 and then 2 would be the
Yeah, it's
highest.
levels. It's
Okay.
levels. A lot of it's political. I mean, it's a lot that goes with it. But at the end of the day, it's, you know, it's about how much you can put into it. If life goes right, if you don't have kids, if you don't need a job, if you can dedicate your whole life to it, you can possibly get to that next level.
Okay, so when did you realize that training was something that you wanted to do?
It would have to be when I was working my regular job. I decided I wanted to go into business myself, and I always trained my whole life, you know,
did?
myself.
Yeah.
And then I moved on into training, you know, everybody else, you know, in terms of, I had a basketball team, AAU basketball team. Did that for a while, trained all the youth with doing that, transitioned that into doing a lot of high school stuff, a lot of middle school stuff, conditioning coaching, transitioned that into doing a lot of boot camps, and then turned into some one-on-one training. And so I would probably say, I decided while towards the end of my 12 years skit with my regular job.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you finally realized that you were not going to be in the NBA,
Hey,
what
I
was that
die
feeling?
hard. That's what I wanted to do.
I know, and I'm sure that was your dream from when you
Right.
was little. Like, what was that feeling for you to know that this is not what I want to do? Like, were you bummed out, or are you excited because you were still, you know, progressing into your fitness journey?
Well, I was. It kind of happened slow.
Okay.
So it was so real, you know, when it was happening. So it wasn't like all of a sudden. It happened slow, you know, as you started to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
So basically, it wasn't a bad transition
That's good.
at all. No,
That's good.
no, I knew that I could be great in so many other things. So yeah, I just pressed forward.
Okay. And then I heard you say that you had a job and then you had fitness. When did you quit that guaranteed paycheck for fitness? Like, and then how was that for you? Where did you work at?
Where did I work at?
Yes, I
Okay,
want to know, what did you do before this?
Okay, so I was a store manager in a furniture store.
Okay.
So that was my thing, right? And I did that for like almost 15 years.
15 years?
Almost 15 years, yeah. And while I was doing that, I was transitioning slowly towards the end into fitness. So it wasn't until I knew I could make what I was making as a store manager, what I was making. And once I tripled that, you know, and I was making 100 plus. So once I tripled that in fitness, that's when I quit my job. So it was after I owned my own business. After probably about a year and a half in, I quit my regular job and started dedicating my full-time job, which is fitness, to my lifestyle.
Okay. How did you find this building?
Well, our first gym, it didn't work out. I'll just leave it there. And me and Eric decided to move on, right? And I was kind of scouting the neighborhood. I live in Mount Washington, so I wanted somewhere close. I found this place. I called Eric one day. I was like, hey, E, boom, you know, come by, let's check this out. Let's look at it. He was like, okay. We came by, it was a hot mess.
That's what he said.
Yeah, it was a hot mess. I mean, it was ran down. And
but y'all seen the vision.
we seen the vision. Yeah, we seen the vision, and it was, I mean, we were so excited about nothing, you know, because this place was nothing. We was excited about it, but we put our blood, sweat, and tears into it. We grind every day to like make it our own. We didn't take any loans out. We used all our money, our hard-earned money.
Really? So
Yeah.
did you take grants? Or y'all? This was all y'all furniture money and paint job money.
Paint job money, yeah. Now, hold on. Let me just say, going in was all of our money. Then towards the remodel was, we used a little bit of grant money as well, you know. So we used half grant money, half our money
That's
to kind of get to where we need
That's
to be
good.
at. But we still never took a loan out. We don't owe
That's
nobody nothing.
great.
You know, we're not on the hook. A lot of guys, you know, the first thing they want to do is go get a loan, you know.
Because that's what we was taught. You know,
Right.
you would think that would be the smart thing to do is to get a loan, but the smarter thing to do is
Yeah.
your way.
Stand 10 toes down on what you believe in and just inch away at the things you need, and it'll come. And that's what we did. We stayed with it, stayed focused, and made it work.
What is something that you believe that you offer, as far as like a gym collectively, that other gyms may not offer?
Well, I mean, I got a lot of faith in other trainers. You know, I'm not the kind of guy that's going to put anybody
Right.
down. So I think 80% of your trainers can get the job done. But I think when it comes down to delivery, right, I think we have one of the best, we know how to deliver the message to our clients. You know, and in detail, what that means, it means, can you get a client to buy into what you're saying?
Right.
You know, you can teach the right stuff. You can have proper form and eat right and do everything right, and still slip up on 2 or 3 things in what you need to get done, and not have that belief in yourself because your trainer is not able to deliver that message to you the right way. So those days that you take off, those days that you slip up with your eating, that one day turns into 2 days, 3 days, 4 days.
It goes to months. It don't go to days.
Right.
It goes to months.
And then once that happens, you know, before you know it, it's like, you know, hey, what am I doing this for? I'm wasting money. I could be doing this. This is how much money I wasted. They start comparing the money and the time, and it don't make sense. So it's a trainer's job to be able to transition with the client, you know, with their journey, help them transition. Yeah.
Okay. So as a Black business owner, what are some challenges that you have faced?
Well, one of the hardest challenges is for us is being able to find people like us, being able to instill what we have into them and have them keep going. Now, a lot of our team has done that, right? But that's one of the hardest things for a business owner is being able to deliver that energy into someone else. All the other stuff like COVID, that was hard, but it's work. It's still work. It's no different from starting from the bottom. You know, you just re-energize yourself and bounce back and start from the bottom again and work your way back up to the top. But I would have to say, as long as you're able to instill yourself into someone else, which is your team, you're able to keep building over and over again the empire that you was able to build the first time.
And I wanted to add this with the questions I asked previously, because I'm a former client of yours. I feel like your gym is more family oriented. Like, when you come here, it's more like it's family. Everybody's smiling. If they ain't smiling, it's because they're getting killed by a trainer. But it's like, I feel like it's, you know, family here.
Yeah.
So, and yeah.
And it is. I mean, one of the things we hang our hat on is our vibe.
Yes, it's the vibe.
Yeah, the vibe, music, good people, good energy. And then the way that we are able to stay in one unit together. Like, everybody is down for each other. We care about issues, problems. We're into problem solving with each other. So we definitely hang our hat on being family knitted.
Okay, so during COVID, that's how I met Randall during the Zoom calls, right?
Yeah.
What did you do during COVID? Like, did you do the same thing with the Zoom calls? Like, what did you do?
I did the virtual training with the Zoom and everything like that. Excuse me. But my clients, they're very stubborn.
Look at
And you know, they're hard-headed and they're stuck in their ways.
I heard how you train. You might as well have a belt in your hand. I heard how you train. I said,
Don't believe them. Don't believe that.
I
Don't
was
believe
on your
it.
page.
Oh, okay.
I said, does he got a whip?
Never mind. So I blame my dad. He was a drill sergeant.
You did say he was a military brat.
And so structure is everything for me. You know?
Okay.
Now, don't get me wrong. My clients don't just pay to be assaulted. You know, they come in and the energy is good. You know, we have that type of dynamic to where it's like, yeah, I might cuss you out, I might yell at you a little bit, but
it's all love.
But that stomach's gone. That ass is looking, you know, your everything, you know, is coming together. And you know, I'm teaching you. I'm not just coming in yelling, do this, do that. You know, I'm teaching you why you're doing this.
Okay,
and I'm teaching you. You know what I'm saying? So.
Okay, so to conclude the interview, you can give any words of encouragement to anyone that wants to open up their own gym or own business. What would it be?
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Don't think about it.
Yeah, don't wait. Don't ask anybody if you should be doing it. If you feel like that's something you should be doing, then do it. I can't let you borrow my eyes.
Right.
You can't see what I see.
Right.
So my vision is my vision. Nobody else can sit here and say, well, I don't see it. It's not meant for you to see. You know, so I say do it. If the pool is there for you to do it, find a way and make it happen. That's it. Okay, so to conclude this interview, what are any words of encouragement to someone that wants to start a business or open a gym up? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to think about it twice. Don't go into anything with, blind. Educate yourself. Look at the market. Look at your tools. Make sure you can provide what you're wanting to do. Make sure that you are just all in. It's kind of like if you dedicate 4 years to college. Dedicate some time to your craft that you're going to be doing for the rest of your life, or most of your life. And then the other thing that I would like to say is make sure your finances are in order. Make sure that your credit is good. Make sure that you're able to pay bills the right way. Make sure that you are focused in those areas just as much as you are in your own craft. Because if you're not, you'll be good at what you do, but you'll lose there, and then there's your business. So just make sure you 10 toes down with your finances, 10 toes down with your drive and beliefs in yourself.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Randall.
I appreciate it.
It was a pleasure.
It's a pleasure on my end.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The Plug Network is ever expanding. Subscribe to our YouTube page and hit the notification bell for all updates. Thank you and stay plugged in.